Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.
Alrighty, today we're going to take a little bit of a side turn, and we are going to talk about measures of central tendency and how to find these different measures. Measures of central tendency have a much easier term, would be averages, and I think you've learned. I'm pretty sure you learned in sixth grade, and we've talked about it in seventh grade, especially in homework. There are different forms of averages. There's the mean, there's the median, there's the mode, and then there's also a range, which isn't really an average. But I think it's a good idea for us to practice finding those different measures of central tendency. So that's what we're going to do today before we move on with the rest of chapter 8. So let's make sure we get this definition into our notes. Measures of central tendency are ways to identify one number that characterizes a group of numbers. So let's take a look at the first one, which is the most common that we use. I always use the mean whenever I'm finding your grades. In fact, this could be like we might have had a quiz or an assessment on Friday that was worth 10 points. And so if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students that took the assessment, if I were to come up with one number that would best represent the grade of all 6 of these people, what would that one number be? I wouldn't want to choose the 10 because that was the highest score and only one person got it. I wouldn't want to choose the 6, and that's the lowest score, which only one person got. So, what number best represents this collective group and their understanding of the concepts? So the mean is the sum of the set of the numbers divided by the total number of numbers within this set. So what we need to do is we need to take all of these scores, and it doesn't matter if they're put in order from least to greatest when you're finding the mean, but you do have to add them together. So go ahead and add up all those numbers and see what you get. Take a calculator or do a paper pencil if you want to. I'm going to just go ahead and reveal that the answer is 48 once you add all those together. So then the second part is to divide by the total number of numbers. And since there were 6 numbers, we would take 48 divided by 6, and you get 8 for an answer when you do that. So what does that mean? That means that the average score for these 6 students was 8 out of 10. So the class, or this particular group of students, 8 out of 10 is considered 80%. That's a pretty good score. That would tell me that for the most part, students are understanding this concept, whatever the concept was that I was assessing for this particular quiz. Okay, so that's the mean. That's the process for finding the mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice this a little bit. Here you've got set number 1 and set number 2. And what I'd like for you to do is pause the video, copy down these numbers, add them together, then divide by the number of numbers, and then we will reveal what the answer is, what the mean is for these 2 sets of data. Go ahead and pause and work through that process, and then unpause when you're ready for the review. All right, let's see. You would have added all those together. I'm not even going to bother telling you what the sum is. Did you get 17 for your mean? I certainly hope you did, because that is the correct answer. And for set number 2, you add all those together. Look, at the lowest number here is 17. The highest number is 42. So I'm guessing that the mean is going to be somewhere in the high 20, low 30 range, and it happens to be 28. Okay, so once again, add the numbers together, divide by the number of numbers, and this is your answer. All right, now for the median. Ooh, look at that. The median is the middle number of a set of numbers. Now, we have been finding the median a lot since we've been practicing with our box plots. The median is a very important part of that process. So what do we do here? We take our numbers, and once again, this is the same data that I think we had before with the 6 assessment scores. Remember, the mean was 8. But if we're going to put this in order from least to greatest, we will list them like this. And what number shows up in the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turns out there's 2 numbers in the middle. And so in that situation, you would find the mean of those two numbers, but they're the same number. So here shows you kind of a process of working your way toward the middle, and eventually you get to where your median is going to be the number 8. So once again, let's go ahead and find the median of these two sets of data. Put these numbers in order from least to greatest, and then find whatever number is in the middle. Okay? Okay. I think maybe I'll do this one. I'll put them in order from least to greatest as well, and show you a little bit of the process that I didn't show you with the mean. Unpause when you've got your answer. All right, so putting the numbers in order from least to greatest, they become 14, 16, 17, 18, 20. So there's an odd number of numbers. That should be fairly straightforward. There should be one number in the middle. That number is number 17. For this set of data, you've got a total of 7 numbers, 17, 17, 24, 29, 31, 36, 42. So the number in the middle is the 29, so that will be your median for this set of data. So, when you find the means, you just add the numbers and divide by the number of numbers. When you find the median, you must put the numbers in order from least to greatest and find the number that is in the middle. Okay, so what if there are 2 medians? All right, let's go ahead and do the exact same thing here. Now we're going to see where you're going to have 2 numbers in the middle, and you'll have to find the mean of those 2 numbers. So putting them in order from least to greatest, we end up seeing it looks like this. So now what is the mean of those 2 numbers? To find the mean of those 2 numbers, you're going to just add them together and divide by the number of numbers. So 11 plus 13 is 24. What is 24 divided by 2? It is 12. So in this situation, while 12 is not actually any of the numbers in this data set, it is considered the median. All right, now for the mode. The mode is a number that appears most often. So if you take this example, 8, 10, 6, 9, 8, and 7, notice how the 8 shows up twice, but all the other numbers are only accounted for once. That makes the 8 the mode of the data. It's the number that occurs the most. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not an average that we would typically use when we're dealing with numerical data. Mode is generally what you're going to use when you have categorical data. For instance, let me go ahead and hold on for a second. I'll pause for a second and set something up and then come right back. All righty. Got some things taken care of there. All right, so let's look at a different situation where the mode would seem more appropriate. This would be what you would call categorical data. It's non-numerical. So if I were to ask you the question, what is your favorite ice cream, and then ask other people in class the same question, you know, someone might say mint chocolate chip, Moose Tracks, vanilla, Neapolitan, caramel fudge, chocolate, and then other people would be like, yeah, I like Moose Tracks too, or mint chocolate chip works for me too, or you know, maybe a lot of people like caramel fudge. So you just start tallying all the different numbers, and you start to see, okay, that's interesting. Which one was the winner? Which one did most people like? And you can see that a majority of the people liked caramel fudge. So it's not the number that is occurring the most, but it is the flavor of ice cream that is occurring the most. So in a situation like this, the mode would be caramel fudge. That would be the ice cream that most people in class or whoever was surveyed liked. So, you know, yeah, mode is the number that appears the most often. But really, if we're going to find averages for numerical data, it's generally going to be median or mean. We can't find the median or the mean for categorical data, so we would have to use the mode for this situation. But that being said, we'll just go ahead and find the mode for these sets of data. So go ahead, copy them down, and identify which number occurs the most for each one of these sets. All right, so let's see how you did. Now, if it's helpful, it may be a good idea to put these in order from least to greatest. That way you'll see the numbers right next to each other, which occur the most, but you don't necessarily have to. You can see here that the 18 is the mode for that data, and what appears to show up the most here looks like 17 shows up twice here. No other numbers show up more than once, so 17 would be the mode for data set number 2. Okay, so you can also have no mode, or you can have more than one mode. So in a situation like this, there's no number that occurs more than once, so we would just call that no mode. We're not going to list every number individually and say they're all equally the mode. No, that doesn't work. So just say that there's no mode. But in a situation like this where you've got the 9 that shows up twice and you got the 4 that shows up twice, so we would say that the mode is both the 4 and the 9. All right, now for the range of the data. Really, this isn't an average as much as it just tells you about the spread of the data. And this is, we talk about the range when we're talking about box plots. And sometimes if there's this huge range of data, that implies that there's an outlier within the data. But basically what you do is when you find the range of the data, you identify the smallest number and the largest number, and you subtract the smallest number from the largest number. For instance, for this set of data here, the largest number was 10 and the smallest number was 6. So you would take 10 minus 6, and that gives you the range, which is 4. So the range of this data is 4. So let's go ahead and take set number 1 and set number 2 and identify the greatest and the smallest numbers and figure out what their range is. All right, did you take 20 minus 14? This first one, what does that give you an answer of? It gives you an answer of 6, right? So the range of set 1 was 6, and the highest number here was 42, and then you take away the lowest number, which is 17. What is 42 minus 17? It is 25. So the range of set 1 is 6, and the range of set 2 is 25. All right, so now it's time to practice finding the mean, median, mode, and range of different sets of data. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave this here. Go ahead and pause. This is important because when we do the Ms. Pac-Man project, you're going to have to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of 4 rounds of scores. And so it's great to practice. Sometimes you have large sets of numbers, sometimes you have relatively small sets of numbers. Remember, the mean, you're going to add them all together and divide by the number of numbers. For the median, you have to put them in order from least to greatest, then find a number in the middle. For the mode, is there any number that occurs more than once? Is there no mode? There could be more than one mode. And then for the range, you subtract the largest number. No, the largest number, take away the smallest number. Okay, so go ahead and pause, and then we'll do the reveal in a second. All right, let's start with the mean. The mean, we got to add up all these numbers. So since they're all nice round numbers, let's go 20, 40. So it's 40, 80, 120, 130, 160, and that is almost 160. That's going to be 250. And 250 divided by 8 is equal to how much? Actually, you know what I could have done? Let me just verify this, that I got this right. 20 plus 20 plus 30 plus 90 plus 40 plus 70 plus, I'm just going to add those together, 50. Did I get it? No, I was way off. Way off. 20, 20, 30, 90, 40, 70, 50. I am so glad I did this over again. That is not 250. It is 320. See how you can make mistakes by trying to do problems in your head? You should never do that. So now we're going to divide that by 8. Why do I have 2 calculators up? Divide this number by 8, divide by 8, and that's going to give you your mean, which is 40. So answer underneath is 40. There, I got it correct. All right, now let me get rid of all of that. Let's put these in order from least to greatest. That should be easier. So you got a 10, then a 20, then a 20, then 30, then a 40, and then a 40. There's supposed to be 2 40s there. Sorry. So 10, 20, 20, 30, 40, 40, 10, 20, 20, 30, 40, 40. Then there's a 70, and then there's a 90. So there's 8 numbers, which means there's going to be 2 in the middle. Those are the 2 in the middle. What's the halfway point between 30 and 40? That should be 35. So hopefully you got 35 as well. The mode, looks like you got 2 modes. You got 20, and you've also got 40. So 2 modes there, 20 and 40. What in the world has happened there? There we go. And the range of the data, 90 minus 10 is 80, correct? Why are those not linked together? It's crazy. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. Okay, so the range is 80. All right, so let's see how you did here. Now that you understand the process, and I've modeled it for you here, I'm not going to model it again. You're going to add all those numbers and divide by 7, and you should have gotten 120 for your answer. The median would be the number in the middle. So let me see if I can figure this out without putting them in order. 100, 1, there's 7, right? So the 4th number in this sequence, 1, 2, 3, I think 119 must be the median. That would be the number in the middle. Yes, it is. Is there a mode in here? Are any numbers repeated? I don't think so. That means there's no mode. And the range would be whatever we get when we take the highest number, which is 157, and subtract away 97. That looks to me like the range is going to be 60. And that's what the range is. Okay. So finding the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Measures of central tendency. You want to be experts at finding all of these for all of our numerical data. Just remember, to find the mean, add the numbers together and divide by the number of numbers. Please use your calculator. Let that help you. To find the median, calculator is not going to really help you unless you've got 2 numbers for your median, in which case you'll want to find the mean of those 2 numbers in the middle. What you really need to do is just order them from least to greatest and find the number that's in the middle. The mode, no real calculations necessary there. Just organize your data, see if any of your numbers show up more than once, which one shows up the most. And then the range, you might want to use your calculator for the range when you're doing subtraction, but generally it's not too difficult of a process. All right, so now that we're experts at this, hopefully we can move on with some other work we're going to be doing and feel confident that if we're ever asked to find medians, means, modes, or ranges, that we know what to do. All right, take care. Bye.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark,